Alright, bro.
Alright, assalamu alaikum. Hi guys, I'm ZAKI. This is of course my brother right here, the chosen one. I have a YouTube channel called ZAKI to DUNYA. And this my brother Terrence, he has also his channel called The Chosen One, The Guided One. So basically what we're kind of going to discuss and kind of elaborate on is why are modern relationships so complicated and so hard to basically be successful. And in my opinion, successful means marriage, kids, and all that stuff, right? At the end of the day, right? Because unfortunately, the norm now is the whole boyfriend-girlfriend thing, you know, for the majority of people. We can talk from an Islamic perspective, of course, which that is haram, but I wanted to talk about just what's popular now, right? Because this also could top into why Islamic marriages are also faltering, right? Because we live in the West, and no matter how much we like to think that we're somehow segregated away from Western culture, most of us, especially me and him, were reverts. We're brought up into the Western culture, so it's not like overnight you're just going to deprogram, years and years and years of what you thought was normal. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I'm going to start basically the reason that I think that they're so bad is because, one, entitlement. And I think that the millennial generation, Generation X started it, but the millennial generation were basically handed over from Generation X with a sense of entitlement. And basically, it's my way or the highway, right? A relationship is not about compromising. It's not about trying to understand somebody else. It's not about going through conflict and resolving conflict. No, it's about avoidance, passive-aggressive energies, manipulation, and things like that. Deflection, yeah, man. And because, I mean, it's not a simple thing, right? You could say, of course, like feminism, right? Which I think is one of the factors. It's one of the factors, right? Of course. Because a lot of people get married, and especially, it's like the traditional way of things was the guy was supposed to be the provider, X, Y, and Z. The woman could work if she wanted to, but it wasn't necessary, you know. Then after the sexual revolution, you know, the pill came out and this, that, and the third, and the rest is history, right? So now, unfortunately, you got two people that are supposed to be, quote, independent of each other, supposing to come together. They move in together, right? Which before marriage, because that's just the norm now. Trust me, you know, I'm not proud of it. I've been in a relationship like that. So people move in together, which is basically what people traditionally did when they got married, right?
Yeah.
And you know, they let's say they get a college education, they're in debt, you know, and they're supposed to build up a life from there. And then also a lot of people, they don't want to have kids until later on in life, until they get their career started, right? So they're, you know, pushing up until 30-something, almost 40-something, childless or whatever like that. Then magically, it's supposed to be fairy tale. That's when you have kids and you have yourself established. It doesn't work like that. But Terrence, you know, you got any thoughts on that?
No, I agree with you. I think it does boil down to kind of this selfish idea that a relationship is supposed to convenience the other person instead of being a transactional, reciprocative, kind of conglomerate of two individuals that are rooted in self, which a lot of society unfortunately suffers from. I mentioned this in my homosexuality video, but it's not just rooted in homosexuality. It's something called ego dystonic, which is being away from oneself, not being able to acclimate to society, because society has all these different ideologies and all these different how do you call them? I would say personas for people, you know, options for people to kind of dive into. So when you lose a sense of self, you don't have a basis, a foundation of self. It's harder to acclimate to society. So people try to look for that in other people, and sometimes even within themselves. And what we have today is, people are looking within themselves to fulfill things that they can't find in a partner or in a society, especially like for men, because we're all about coming together and building families and establishing a foundation and doing what we can to be the unit that brings the family together, and ultimately the family brings society together.
Yeah.
And so I think it starts with that, and I think the responsibility is another thing. I think responsibility. I think the responsibility now, I think it lies with women. Only not because it's just something that I'm just trying to throw at women and be a sexist, misogynist, whatever you guys want to say. But it's because of the power that women have been given nowadays. It's now 2021. There's no excuse. We have women CEOs. We have women doctors. We have women who are building empires, or are leading countries nowadays. So there's no excuse to say that women are still pushed down and men are put on a pedestal in terms of, what do they call it nowadays? Privilege or what's the word? It starts with a P.
I mean, it's privilege.
Patriarchy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think responsibility lies with both parties, but I think what's happened, I just listened to a video yesterday by Sister Myra, and she was saying how once the woman values herself, she then gives the man a reason to live up to her potential, to live up to her sort of unspoken expectations in terms of how to be approachable, or not approachable, how to approach her in terms of, I want to get in a relationship with you, start a family, live that lifestyle, and build, and come together. But when the woman doesn't value herself, then the man doesn't have anything to live up to.
Yeah.
And then once the man doesn't have anything to live up to, he starts looking for other means to chase women, because that's ultimately what we're bred and coerced into doing when we're young. Is be A, B, C, or D, and if you're not A, B, C, or D, then you're not a good man at all. And that's the. I feel like that's the reality. I think it's responsibility, like you said, privilege, and selfishness. I think that a lot of us need to come together and kind of get rooted with who we are. And I've made that mistake too. I've been married twice, bro. I made that mistake twice. Because I don't look at my partners and blame them. I look at, okay, at the end of the day, it was my life. I put myself in those positions. I'm ultimately responsible, because I'm the one living through it. So what did I take and learn from those positions? And when I see what took place, it was really just, me realizing that I needed to be rooted in myself. And that's how relationships flourish. But then again, there's the other side always. Women and men, we're both psychologically corrupted. We need to get together and really figure out what's going on in reality. And there's so many layers, it's almost impossible. But it's we have to start somewhere, you know what I mean? Like, relationships are failing because women have too many options and incentives, and men don't feel needed anymore. And men don't want to live up to the potential of what it means to be a man, because we were the ones who defined it, not women in society.
Yeah.
And that's what
it
we
really
see.
grinds my gears. I don't ever want to hear a woman says a real man does this, a real man does that, because if I say that a real woman does this, then there's freaking
if you say
hell rains down.
A real woman makes me a sandwich. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just done.
And then they say a real man makes money and takes care of me, but that's not offensive.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think here's something else that I think is a big problem. Nothing is special anymore, and I'm just gonna tie into sex, right?
Oh yeah.
I think that today's culture is hypersexual, right? Because human beings, we're natural. Sex is a natural thing. There's nothing wrong with sex, but the thing is, there's a time and place for it. And now society says, have sex anywhere, everywhere, as much as you can. Right. And the more you have sex, the better. The more attractive you are, the more you have sex, the more sex you can get, the more important, valid you are as a person.
Right.
That's why we worship celebrity culture, and all the music is super sexual. All the movies are super sexual. There's no movies about somebody just just going about their life, being chased or anything like that. Maybe waiting for somebody special that they have, whether it be through marriage or just maybe they're just holding themselves to somebody that they're emotionally connected to have sex with. Yeah. People are having sex with people they don't like. People are having sex with people they hate. People are having sex with people that are complete strangers that may have no intention of ever validating them as a human being, right? So if you do that time and time again, how are you supposed to settle down with somebody and make love? Because people don't know what love really is, right? They say that kind of got dumbed down. Back in the day, make love used to be a code word for sex, right? But people kind of got tricked into thinking make love meant making love. You're making love, you love this person, you are doing a physical act of that manifestation of love, right? But no, people got it mixed up. So now it's just sex, man. You know what I'm saying? And after you have sex with so many people, you really think that you're going to be able to like settle down with somebody, and then that moment, those intimate moments with them are going to be special.
Especially for women, and that's why I said it's women, because that target is on their backs. They're the ones perpetuating this whole hypersexuality, and the men are exploiting it. Now, if it wasn't there to be exploited, then the dynamic would change, because the way society was, okay, sure, it may not have been exploited. Women weren't as out there, but they still faced the idea of being raped and being dominated over and all these things that they were legitimate fears. Now there's too many laws, there's too many things, there's too much pop culture around it, so it's not as detriment as people think it is. However, when you leave women to their own faculties, this is something that they choose, and it's like they choose it as if they don't have a choice, but they do have a choice, and every time you give them the option, they choose to perpetuate sexuality with the plausible deniability of not doing that at the same time. And the thing is, with men, we have to come together. Hey, how's it going? We have to come together and really guide and build a system, right, that helps our women realize their value. I actually just ran into a girl yesterday before you showed up, and it was one of the girls that she comes here with a group of kids all the time. But I think I told you no, you were here. You were in line getting food.
Yeah.
And I told her, hey, sister, come here. She says, yeah, what's up? I say, hey, you gotta value yourself more. Those guys are sending you in there to get beers and you're underage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
you're their lap dog and stuff like that.
Right.
And they're all just trying to hit it. Like they don't actually care about
and
her
then
as a
they treat her
person.
like crap. She went inside to get something, and then they're all talking mess behind her back. And
What?
It's just like,
Man, that's valid. That girl's a sweetheart too. I know what you're talking about. It's that Eastern European girl, man.
Yeah, the one who wears the short skirts all the time and stuff. And I'm just like, hey, sis, when you get a chance, go home and take care of self. And this is like, she knew that I was telling her the truth, but something in her was just like, nah, these are my friends. This is what I want.
Same thing with the black dude I was talking to yesterday. Yeah, there was a black dude that was his friends referred to him as like, oh, I gotta take his black ass home, and his black ass here and there and stuff. I'm like, bro, I know what it's like to be a token black guy, right? Real talk. If you're a black man and you're like semi-educated or you talk like you got some sense, white people kind of gravitate to you because you're like not one of them, right? You're like you're a good boy. You know what I'm saying?
You can just articulate yourself.
Yeah, you can articulate yourself. So I was like, man, like, dude, they're punking you. They're treating you like a token black guy.
Yeah.
But because he obviously, to me, for all I see, they live a hedonistic lifestyle. They do a lot of drugs. He said that he does a lot of drugs, so he's dependent on them to probably supply, things like that. So he doesn't want to like cut himself out of that lifestyle. So he's willing to get degraded by somebody else,
right?
In order to feel important, to get that high. You know what I'm saying?
And it goes back to that value system. Men and women need to value themselves as men and women, and not compete to be the other sex, the opposite sex. The man is trying to find the woman within him because the women are out here going crazy, and the woman is trying to find the man in her because men aren't stepping up to the plate.
Yeah.
That's why women are chasing careers instead of families, and that's why men are chasing women instead of stability.
Yeah, I can tell from personal experience back in the day when I was, quote, dating, because I'm using dating for parentheses because dating is just going out to eat and having sex. I mean, let's be honest, right?
Yeah, that's all it is nowadays.
Yeah, so and when I was in the game, bro, I was homeless. I was like sleeping on my friend's couch, and I was still getting played.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what kind of validation at the time? I look back, I was like, why did it take me so much time to mature? It's because I got so much validation. Like, and here's the thing that a lot of girls need to understand. Real talk, man. And I'm dropping some mad game. I don't want to sound egotistical, but a lot of guys won't say
bro.
this.
You gotta keep it real.
Yeah,
you're on my channel now. You keep it real here.
When a guy gets sex from a woman, that's the ultimate validation. That's our whole purpose. That's like the ultimate purpose for a man. Like especially if you like the girl, right?
Yeah.
If you have sex with her, it's like, okay, game over. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Game over. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like game over.
Unless you don't want to give it up, and you want to keep it around, then
exactly.
You act different, but that's ultimately the goal.
Yeah, exactly. So if your boyfriend's a bum, right? Or the guy that you like is a bum, and he doesn't want to improve himself. He's lazy. He's unmotivated. He sits in the house, smokes weed all day. You know what I'm saying? He's aimless in life. If you keep on letting him hit, he's getting the validation like what I'm doing is okay. What I'm doing is right.
Doing enough, yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing enough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Real talk, bro. And I've seen a lot of great, beautiful women, smart girls, man. Let trashy guys just go through them, bro.
I hate seeing that, bro.
Yeah.
It angers me.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I want the woman, but it just angers me seeing that. It's like, you're too beautiful for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, good head on their shoulders and stuff like that. Like, you know, girls. I met girls like with, you know, freaking PhDs, like hooking up with dudes, freaking, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're just drug dealers, and that's all they have for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're not even drug dealers like Kingpins or Scarface and all that. They're just guys that just get high off their own supply, you know, and sit around and they get enough money to pay the rent, but that's about it, man.
Another thing I want to talk about, Kevin Samuels kind of talks about this. He talks about how women. I lost the thought. I think it was women get their validation through, they try to mimic what a man does. And I think feminism kind of brought this concept in that when a woman wants to be equal to a man, or when a woman is seen as being her best version of a woman, it's always in lieu what she thinks the epitome of success is, which is a direct copy of what men have accomplished. If you ever noticed that. A woman's idea of accomplishment is always the epitome of what men do. Because you see it on the commercials and all the TV shows. Oh, she's what? Strong, masculine quality. Oh, she's independent, masculine quality. Oh, she can do it by herself. She doesn't need a man. All these things that she doesn't need a man, but like I said, she wants to find the man within her. Because she doesn't think that the men out here, if they're not the state, because that's her man, you know, they're not eligible for. They're eligible to have sex with. They're eligible to flirt with and manipulate and get things out of. But other than that, the modern woman, she's not rooted in self. She doesn't know her own feminine divinity. And a lot of men, they don't know their own masculine divinity. And I think that's what we need to go into. I think we really need to understand who we are, especially in the black community, man.
Oh, yeah, man.
I'm going to be honest. I don't really, care for all the other communities. When the black people raise up, that's when the consciousness of the planet raises up.
Facts.
Because we are the natives to this planet. Everything that happens to this planet happens to the black woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the other races, they're chilling. They're flourishing off this evil energy that's here on this planet, this shaytanic energy that's ruling this planet. They're flourish off of it.
Yeah.
Our black women are suffering, man.
Yeah,
Really
bro.
are.
Yeah, bro. It's even to the point now where it's like, for instance, when I meet a woman that's black, you know what I'm saying? And I want a black woman or melanated woman to settle down with, right?
Yeah.
However, bro, I get a lot of defensiveness. Like, we're like, you act like you date white girls and stuff like that. Why? Because I talk like I got some freaking sense and stuff like that, hold myself up. Right. And the way our culture is now is like more dysfunctional a man is, the more that he values like BS, the more cool he is.
Feminine energy.
You know what I'm saying? Like whether it be criminal behavior, the dysfunctional behavior, lack of motivation and stuff, or his only motivation is to wear nice clothes and get money, regardless of how he gets it. You know what I'm saying? To the detriment of himself and his community. That's looked upon as being a good thing. It's not the guy that's like the freaking the teacher, the professor, the doctor, the lawyer, you know, the freaking soldier or anything like that. Those were honorable, back in the day, those were honorable things men did.
Yeah.
You know, there used to be a thing like, oh, women love a man in a uniform. Now it's like, no, like, women love a man that doesn't wear, you know, freaking anything to deal with any kind of position of authority. It's always they're attracted to, you know, the guy with freaking, that wears sweats and freaking a hoodie all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No diss to you, bro. No diss to you.
Oh, no.
No. This guy wears robes, so.
I love my sweaters.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable in those.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're absolutely right, man.
Yeah.
Like it's insane that you notice how wherever women go with how they carry themselves, men always try to model their lives after that. You notice that? And so, like, when you really think about the epitome of what men had built in the ancient times, civilizations, what were the women modeling? It must have been something beyond what we can imagine today.
Yeah.
The women are modeling what? Shaking their ass in the streets. They want stability and money and all these superficial things. So what are men living up to? Becoming a new rap star. Driving around in Lamborghinis just for the sake of pulling girls. You know what I mean? So I think once the women, I heard it best, they said, A man is the redeemer. The woman is the resurrector. You can't resurrect something until you redeem yourself.
Yeah, real talk, man. I like that, dude. And I think one thing that I can think of, I guess this is my final point, and this is going to be the most important thing. And this is going to really grind people's gears, and I mean this with no malice. I know it may come across some type of way, you're getting your feelings, but this has to be said. We aren't equal, and that's fine. That's totally fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, the way if I have a daughter, the way I'm going to raise my daughter is going to be completely different than I raise a son.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And that's legit, because there's different adversities and different things that she's going to face as a woman in this society than my son is. And I'm going to hold my son up to a different level of accountability than her. And you know what? Depending on what age they are, that could change, right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And it's okay. For instance, I'm physically stronger than a woman. Obviously, so women aren't physically stronger than men. That's just a fact, and that doesn't mean that I am somehow superior because of that. It depends on what I do with that strength. If I use my strength to be a brute and brutalize people, then yeah, I'm not superior whatsoever. But I use my strength to protect people and defend the people that are weaker than me, which is what the warriors did. The warrior was the person in society, in every single society, that defended the weaker and those weaker than themselves. Right? Girls look for their quote knight in shining armor. That's what a man was supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with that. For instance, I can never birth a child. There's a strength in that. That's extremely strong. You freaking carry a baby for freaking 9 months and then you squeeze it out of you. That's a strength that I can't even imagine, right? So you have a different strength than me.
When I go to the bathroom, it's hard, bro. I mean, I could imagine a whole baby. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You eat that taco, man.
And that's something beautiful. That's something so
it
beautiful,
is,
man. Like the fact that you can create life, or not create life, but the fact that you can hold life, right?
Yeah.
And that baby. And here's the thing that's different between men and women too. Every single child universally will have more attachment to their mother because you grew inside of them. That same blood flowed through your veins.
Right,
so
exactly.
you are always going to have more of attachment to your mother.
Right, exactly.
Point blank here. Mothers, go ahead.
Yeah, and the fact that women are kind of getting away from that. They don't want to embody what they're biologically made to do at the end of the day. And I understand their plight in terms of not feeling like there's adequate sustenance out there in order to achieve that, but it's all about coming together. You're never going to get that until you start acting right. Trying to be over your man and talk crap down to him and belittle him and throw him in prison, put him on child support. It's like, well, you're kind of creating your own catch-22. How are you going to put someone on child support that you're depending on? Because then the government's going to take from him. Then if he can't pay, then they're going to take his driver's license. Then he can't go to work. And if he can't go to work and pay the child support, then he's going to end up in jail, and you lose. So what sense does that make because you feel independent and cool because you want to put your man on child support because you're bitter and emotional? You know what I mean? It makes no sense. And see, people can't take this truth. They can't handle it. A lot of women can't handle it.
Yeah,
and, we have to put it out there. And like I said, once the women change their dynamic, once they start putting clothes on, and once they start, walking around like they have respect, it's for themselves. Nothing's going to change. Because men will continue to be men, right? You have your losers and you have your winners, right? But at least on the spectrum of men, we at least achieve things in society. You know what I mean? Instead of, we don't look at superficial things like our looks. We don't lead by our looks. We lead by our status. We lead by our character. Most of us, And even those men are even put down by women and thrown in prison. And any good man that's ever tried to stand for anything, and he's usually taken down because of his woman.
It's another thing. Go ahead. Yeah, I was gonna say you said a very important thing. Character, right? Character is one of the most important things I can ever think of, and I'm gonna be, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be balanced with this, and I'm gonna call up some of the dudes. The hip hop and all that music, or rock music and all that stuff, man, has brainwashed us into looking for a vixen. Oh, I want a girl that has a fat ass, nice tits, you know what I'm saying, looks cute in the face, has nice hair and stuff like that. And that's the epitome of what the woman that you want, right? And then these same guys complain when these guys get ran through, screwed over, catch cases and stuff like that because of these same girls, because they're broken. beauty is just not a physical thing. It deals with your soul, with your spirit, with your heart.
And then,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Women see their beauty as a tool, so it's never appreciated.
Yeah.
You know, it's never truly appreciated. It's always, you know, did I put my makeup on? You know, how many makeup tutorials can you find on no offense.
The one day.
Yeah, we got one of our
It's okay. No, it's okay. No, you're good, bro.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. There's no makeup's cool, but when you make it into
Like a personality.
a person, yeah, exactly. There you go. That's perfect.
I know this female that I went to high school with. She like cakes on her makeup like every day, and like she cannot. She even posted on her story like, I can't leave the house without makeup. Like,
Yeah, disgusting.
it's wild as
That's
fuck.
disgusting.
And she's been like that since we were in high school, and
Yeah.
we're like 21, 22 now.
Right. And it's disgusting. Your face can't even breathe. And it's just like you expect a man to want to treat you as, you know, for who you are. You don't even know who you are because you're making yourself up every day.
Yeah, man.
That's what the word is, make up. You know what I mean? So it's just
Yeah.
like it's a balance. We all got to come together.
Yeah, man. We have equivalent. It's not makeup, but it's remember, did your parents ever say, "Clothes don't make the man makes the clothes"?
Nah,
You never heard that saying? So there was
Yeah,
an
I
old school saying.
understand,
My pops used to tell me. He was like, you know, hey, don't be obsessed with wearing nice clothes and looking flashy and stuff like that. Granted, I like looking good just like anybody else does, right? But he's like, don't put so much value on that. You know what I'm saying? The clothes don't make the man makes the clothes.
Yeah.
So if you're a guy, you look suave, you have a nice suit on and stuff like that, but you freaking don't have a job, or you know you're not motivated, you're not actually a guy out there that's about getting the numbers or trying to start a business or trying to make something of yourself, whatever pursuit you have in life, right? Whether you want to be a scholar or a doctor, right? If you don't have anything behind that those clothes mean nothing. And then we have guys these days wearing chains, bro. There's guys wearing freaking platinum chains, gold earrings and stuff that don't even have a job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
$300
And they
Jordans.
they stay with their moms. You know what I'm saying? They stay with their moms for as long as they can and stuff like that. They just sit, smoke weed all day. But because of how they look, especially if they have a grill, girls love that shit. If they have that look, dude, they're gonna get Tinder matches off the woo-ha. Right? Well, a guy that maybe is not the best, dresser and stuff like that, but he can be a freaking, six-figure kind of guy. I work with guys that are freaking geniuses, bro. Like, they're into IT, they make good money, they're motivated and stuff like that. But because they don't have that swag, they're never gonna get the girls that that they probably want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree, man. And I think one more thing is, as far as how and why modern relationships aren't working, it's because we said responsibility. We said
we got some comments on here, man. Yeah, we kind of missing out. Yeah, we got some comments. Yeah.
That's my cousin, man.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, my bad. I didn't know if you wanted to pick him up and see him or something like that.
He's making fun of me. He's always talking mess, man.
Oh, okay.
That's cool. It's good humor.
Okay, my bad.
I'm protecting my energy. That's why I wear these. I don't care how hard it is.
I feel you.
But I don't have any more thoughts, man. There's a lot of deeper concept that I'd rather not get into for this particular video, because you know me, I'm very deep and spiritual. But like kind of from the surface level, yeah, that's pretty much it. Are you okay with Korean?
Yeah. We actually have a girl, have a female
We
here.
have one of our friends here that we met here out here. Her name's. Are you okay with us giving her name? Her name's Kavina. So maybe she can give you guys kind of a feminine perspective on whether or not, or how relationships.
You can sit where I'm sitting right now.
How relationships are failing nowadays.
Okay, yeah, let me.
Because I know you guys think I'm pretty biased on my channel, but hey, we have a lot of different variety here. I like to be fair, I like to be honest. So, So I'll scoot over and you come on this side.
Put my face mask.
Yeah, you grabbing kava? Can you grab me a water? Yeah, why not? I'll take one. Hey, Jazakallah khair. Okay, cool. So it's Instagram Live, so just go ahead and do your thing. Just go at it.
I
So,
honestly
the
was
topic-
kind of like half in and half out of the conversation,
okay,
but I
yeah.
was listening, my ear was attentive.
Okay, so the topic is actually why and how modern relationships are failing. So just kind of give your perspective. We gave our male perspectives on it, but
Well,
since you're
because
here,
you kind of already touched, you've already touched pretty well
Speak
on
a little
the.
louder.
Oh, here. Let me go take this off.
you can.
You've already touched pretty well on that already about how, you know, we're both trying to fill each other's positions.
Yeah.
I personally have had that problem in my relationship, you know, wanting to be more masculine, like wanting to kind of like be the head of the relationship in some aspects, you know, like maybe with like planning dates and stuff like that, you know, like that's just really simple, you know, I mean, it's good for, you know, the woman to plan them out or whatever, but you know, it's just more of like I don't know, I grew up old fashioned. I grew up like with my parents from like the 50s and 60s, you know.
Yeah. Definitely.
So, you know, they're really they're very just subtle about how they do things, you know, like I don't know, I feel like one thing that relationships lack nowadays is just like utter respect, you know, like a man would rather, like, I mean, nowadays, like, if you want to put game on a woman, you just walk up to her and you be like, hey, I'm trying to, you know, take you out, but what happened to like going up to like her front door and like asking her dad if he can take her out?
Yeah.
You know?
And in Muslim and the Islamic perspective, as far as like the religious perspective, that's actually the old-fashioned way of doing things.
Yeah.
It's a little unorthodox in Western
Yeah.
culture, but at least they had that aspect of, you know, going to the dad. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I like that you mentioned respect too, is that we don't respect each other's positions as the opposite sex.
And I had to learn that personally with just like, you know, with, you know, being around multicultural men, you know, different cultures, you know, require, you know, different, you know, things that the woman needs to do, you know. I mean, they're all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
You know, they're all
a little louder.
They're all one and the same.
Just because it's getting loud, you know.
All right. They're all one and the same, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feminine energy, I feel like, is like almost kind of like dying out.
It is.
You know, like I really feel like being a woman now is like almost taboo.
It is, yeah.
You know.
I would agree with you, and that's what I was saying. It's kind of the saving grace that we need. We need more submissiveness, because if our women are submissive to us, then we can lead and change all the bad things that are happening in society. Because when a good man tries to stand up, he's usually shot. The first person to shoot him down is usually his woman or his wife.
That's true.
You know?
That's absolutely true for sure.
Especially nowadays, maybe not back then, maybe not like 20 years ago, but just like in the last few decades, that's what it's been. You know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. What's my point? He said fat asses are glorious. Yeah, they definitely are, man.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about,
modern relationships fail due to feminism. Yep. We talked about that a little bit in the beginning. Definitely.
Yeah, because women want equality, like, which is okay to an extent, but like, honestly, just being honest with your viewers, I would have rather stayed my ass up in the house being a housewife than over here having to be up in the workplace, you know, or deal with other people's bullshit. You know, I would have rather sent my man out to work so he can go deal with other people's crap all day, and then I could be home all day cooking for him, you know?
Right.
Now I have to, now as a woman, I have to go deal with people's crap at work for 8 hours a day or so on and so forth, and I have to come home and also make my man and myself and my children food, and then also have to bathe myself, bathe my kids. You know, it's just like so much to do.
And it puts stress on the female body. Female body is such a sensitive thing.
It is.
But now women have to feel like they have to acclimate to the man's lifestyle. They put on they still want their femininity, so they put on the tight clothes, which is really just putting stress on their bodies. Yeah. They have to go out into the workplace, put more stress on their bodies, more stress on their mental faculties, and driving itself is already, a detriment to women because of how much focus it requires and how much adrenaline is rushing through the brain. And a woman's brain is not necessarily built to handle that level, I would say, not entirely, but that level of stress. And there's so many different factors that women face when they you said it best. Women would much rather stay at home taking care of the kids, and a lot of them say no because they don't have any security in their men to do that job for them. Go to work, bring home the bread, and that's also
the failed
different.
factor of like relationships nowadays is setting by example through parents.
Yeah.
The parents are really what set the foundation. But then again, like people who never really have that foundation, that stability at home, they have to somehow find that themselves and create that by themselves. I don't know, and it's just a long journey. It's a longer journey that way.
And the dynamic in which we have to chase those things has changed also. When we put money in the picture, that's when things change a lot too. Because before we were the hunter-gatherer. Before we had a healthy patriarchy where the men, it was a matriarchy, but undercover.
Yeah.
We functioned as a patriarchy, but it was an undercover matriarchy.
Yeah.
Because the men knew what the women were. These precious beings that helped us to sustain life here in this realm.
Yeah.
Right? So they had to be taken care of. And the women understood. Yeah, the women understood they needed to be protected, so they treated their men. They were there for their men. They cooked for their men, so the men could be healthy enough to go out and chase that, that buffalo, take them down and get food for the family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And imagine we didn't have any money anymore, and we still had feminists, right? And guys are out there hunting buffalo, and he says, "Hey, can you cook for me?" She goes, "No, cook for yourself." Then what? How is he gonna have the strength to go out there and get her more food? You know what I mean? If the money system were to fail, if all these conveniences that women have to chase a lifestyle where they don't necessarily need a man, if that's not in place, what would the women do? What would the men do?
Men were trained in, the field of the world, plants, identifying which plants are safe to eat and things like that. If apocalypse were to happen, literally. If apocalypse were to happen, like you said, pretty much, where like money system were to fail, economics would go to shit, right? Women would just be lost. Like honestly, the women race. If you notice in all, let's just put this out real quick. If you notice in any of like the zombie, if you notice in any of the zombie movies, the women always die out. All of them. The women you never see. Like there's probably like maybe like three women, and then they're like the most toughest, that you can find, and even then they're still hella over emotional, so their feelings get in the way, and then they can't even, what I'm saying,
Or they fall. Yeah. I hate that. I watch the movie and she's like running, and I'm like, oh my god, I fell. Oh my god, he's coming. He's still 30 feet away, but I can't do anything because I fell.
Like, get your ass back up and keep it running. Like, honestly, I ain't got no time to complain, something's behind me,
Right. Yeah, but that's wild. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I have actually a post on my Instagram. I think you've seen it. It says feminism when World War III starts, and it's a woman cooking in the kitchen.
Oh my god.
I know that's a little controversial, but hey, it's the truth.
That's true, though. It is.
It's like, that's not saying that's your place, but stereotypes are built off of truth.
It's not really stereotypes. If you notice all throughout history, women has always been in the kitchen, and that's what they've always been trained to do is cook.
And when you leave them, think of it this way: when a man actually provides the lifestyle for a woman, that's what she chooses to do. What's the first thing she says to a husband who's got money and all these other things? I want a nice kitchen.
Yeah.
That's one of the first things they do, That's the crazy thing. So it's women that fought for independence and all these things, and they get it, and they just go right back to doing these feminine things. But then they fight people who say, "Oh, you belong in the kitchen." Not belong, but you should, go to the kitchen. You should take care of your man. You should give him sex. All these things that are just like taboo.
I don't know. I personally read through, multiple books about, women and what. I mean, I've read through,
Oh, yeah, I'm going to use that.
All right.
I've read through books, and stuff about, women throughout history. And we've always been like the power source almost,
You have all the power. I actually gave that analogy the last time. It's like the game of chess. On the chessboard, the queen has all the power.
Yeah.
But she does it in lieu of her king. Because if not, the kingdom falls.
Yeah.
Who else is she going to exercise that power on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't realize that. I feel like a lot of women should play chess.
I
They
play
would love
chess.
it. You do? that queen on the board, even if you get her taken away, you can get a pawn to the end of the end of the board, and you can actually bring your queen back.
Yeah.
The queen has all the power. She can move any direction she wants. It's beautiful how they made that game, really. But it's based on the principles of life.
Yeah, it really is. That's
Because
why they have the chess pieces like that.
Exactly. The universe is the queen. That's why when people say, like, I was listening to Ariana Grande's song, they're saying, she's saying God is a woman.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's not true. God can't be a woman because the universe is the woman. God uses the universe to bring himself into, not existence, but into reality. So he can present himself to the human being. And to us. You know what I mean? So God can't be a woman because that would mean God is the primordial waters, which are what you call the waters. Like the womb is the waters, you know? So the universe is the womb, the material, you know? Yeah. You got it right. I don't know where ZAKI is. I don't know. I pretty much, unless you want to go the spiritual route, I pretty much said, all I can say about this topic, you know.
We can talk about whatever.
Some of the things that I think.
It's life, man.
Also,
I actually drew this one day. It's kind of funny.
Yoni, huh? Oh yeah, that's like an ancient word for vagina.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
I just drew like the sun.
Relationships, though, is that self-care.
Yeah.
A lot of women don't focus on that, and a lot of men don't focus on that. And really, it's a feminine quality. So when you have these mothers not teaching their sons, because there's a pandemic of single mothers out there.
Yeah.
When these women aren't teaching their sons, because a lot of the time they're not capable, because they're not men themselves.
Yeah.
But when they're not teaching their sons the proper feminine aspect, because men are gonna try to learn how to be men regardless, and if not, they're gonna build their own societies. People call those gangs. That's what they say.
Yeah.
So when men are out there and they build their own societies, what are the women in those societies perpetuating? You know what I'm saying? Can you clean yourself? Can you take care of yourself? It's not always about chasing money. Money is not tangible.
Yeah, because
I've
I've personally met dudes with stacks of money and
Yeah.
like they stunk. Like for real. Like I'm like,
all
bro, you
this
need
money,
to take
but,
a shower,
What
bro.
does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, I've met some of the dumbest people and they're rich as hell.
I know.
Because all they know is one thing. You might be smart in one area, but that doesn't mean you're intellectual in any other area. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's why when women chase guys that have money, it's superficial. And that's what we gotta try to steal our women away from, these superficial things. And then when our women act that way, our men think that, women like superficial things, so that's what I'm gonna revolve my life around, superficial things. I'm gonna get a nice car, I'm gonna dress nice, and I'm gonna have a lot of money. It's just like, okay, what about your psyche? What about your health? What about your self-care? Who are you as a character? In your character, you know what I'm saying? And women don't look for these things because they know, hey, I can get a guy who's just going to sustain me based on superficial shit. Food, shelter, clothing, and materialistic stuff.
Yeah. For sure.
We've been going for 43 minutes. Oh, there you are. Yeah. You want to join? Yeah, we were talking for a minute.
Okay, where you guys at right now?
It's only an hour long that they allow that you would go, so we got like 15 minutes.
You know too much.
Okay, yeah. So, I guess as a closer, if we don't try to have productive conversations and not be in our feelings about this topic, because there is the red pill spaces and then the feminist spaces and stuff, and whenever these conversations happen, they always get derailed. Oh, sorry. Yeah, well, I got my mask on, bro. But if we don't have these conversations and try to understand each other, the next generation is going to be lost.
Oh yeah, they're fucked up.
Well, where are we 3 generations deep of broken families? Like the home has just been destroyed. I mean, for various reasons, economic reasons, social, political reasons, and stuff like that.
Religious reasons.
Yeah, religious reasons, and all different kinds of stuff, right? And men and women, we need to have these conversations and not be defensive. Because as a guy, I acknowledge, I'm not a feminist by any means, but I acknowledge that men didn't do, there's a certain group of men throughout time that haven't stepped up and did what they did. You know what I'm saying? There were men that neglected their children and neglected their families, you know, and I'm a child of a man that did that. You know what I'm saying? I love my father to death, but he abandoned 2 of his kids. You know what I'm saying? And that pain will get carried on the next generation because that woman is hurt, and when she teaches her daughters about relationships and about men, she's gonna be like, hey, your father didn't love me, didn't care about me, just look out for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that's a bad way to kind of have an outlook about life from the beginning. So for me, you know, one thing I realize is that we have to come together and have these conversations, but these days feelings get so involved that people can't have any kind of criticism, like especially when I go to feminist spaces. Like, you would think that like women are angels that don't do anything wrong, right? Or if they do anything, or if they do something wrong, it's because of men, you know, and stuff like that. And then, you know, we have like
accountability, bro. They don't have any.
Yeah, and then we got like beta men that like blame everything wrong in their life off of the girl. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And then they live with, but ironically, they stay with their mother until like they're 50 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Facts,
yeah, those guys would be considered incels. You know what I'm saying?
I'm making a video on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, man, we need each other. Men and women need each other, bro. And there's nothing wrong with that. Being dependent on somebody else. If you're building a foundation and a family and a society, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm dependent on brothers, like I'm dependent on like my male friends, like our comrades, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
camaraderie is that's how we were created.
Yeah.
We were created as we live in duality. So there is no man without woman, and there's no woman without man. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, I look forward to, I think the biggest milestone in my life is even the sisters are out today, man, alhamdulillah. You know, I don't care how much money I make or being a celebrity. I think on my headstone, I want loving father and loving husband. That I could sleep easy in the grave if I know that. That's the biggest thing, because there's men that have all those things, all the materials in the world, all the renown, but they're trash parents, they're trash fathers, they're trash, you know what I'm saying? And family was an important thing to them. And I think that's used to be, like, even poor families, like, they still revered their parents, that, you know, their father that worked hard, you know, and provided for the family and set a moral example for the children. But now these days, it's just people think that because you make a lot of money, somehow you're a good dad. You know?
Right. It's so funny that you said that. I was listening to Sister Shahrazad Ali, and she was saying how, you know, that's usually the depiction of men. Is that, if like I said earlier, if it's not A, B, and C, if he's not doing that, then he's not a man at all. I sent you that video, Dr. Phil Valentine, What is a Man?
Yeah.
You gotta listen to that and just like hear it. Because that's like the epitome of explaining how men and women are looked at versus where we could be. You know what I mean?
You know what? That'd be a good sign. What is a real man?
What is a real man? Yeah.
Yeah.
What is a man?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do that.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful. Inshallah, bro. That's all I have, man.
That's all I have. Kabina?
That's all I have too, man.
You want to close for us?
I've never. Oh, sorry. I think that, like, women honestly just need to get our asses back in the kitchen. Like, on some real shit. Like, we just, like, just on some real shit, we just need to get our asses back up in the kitchen and just, you know, I know it's hot in there, but I honestly would rather be up in there than out here doing people's crap all day.
Yeah, man, like, working sucks. Let's be honest, bro. Let's be honest. Hey, sisters, like, women, I love y'all, man. I love women's hair, like, all shapes and sizes, man. The way, the sweetness of your voice, man. The hearing a woman's sound on, like, on the phone. Oh my god, especially like.
Cherish that with my wife, bro.
Yeah, dude, I used to talk to girls on the phone for hours when I was a kid, like my crush and stuff, man, and the softness of your hands. Yeah, dude, especially feminine clothing. I love feminine clothing, like dresses and all that stuff, man. It drives me crazy, man, and it's like natural. It might, like, unfortunately, some of us learned the hard way not to worship y'all, but it's very hard not to.
And you guys know that too.
Yeah.
Women know that. And it's just like, stop trying to use it against us and use it to better us, better our situation. Because you have all the power.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. This is your thing, so you want to close it?
Yeah, I guess I'll close out. Yeah, it's the chosen one, it's the guided one. It's the guided one, it's the chosen one, it's the man with the pitcher of water.